10 minutes. So I told him to bring them pretty quickly.
That's good. You know what? We're gonna do arraignments first. We're not, the other hearing will have to wait. But yes, I want to do them quickly, but magistration first.
Yes, sir. And they don't have to call anybody from housing. They're all down here. They leave this camera
Yeah,
alone
that's good. Yep.
with touching it. Yeah, I don't know why the officers feel they need to come and touch it. It's not a toy. Did what's the name? Transfer the message to you guys? Oh, okay. I'm not trying to rush. I was just trying to make sure. All right, thanks. Bye. Can you get my mask, please?
Sir, put your mask on, please. Sir, put your mask on. Thank you. Put that on for me. Now? No?
Good.
Okay, good.
That's what we're gonna do.
Or we're gonna go back. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are our magistrate arraignments, morning magistrate arraignments for Tuesday, the 23rd of November, 2021. We are on the record to that extent. We do that for the purpose of maintaining a record for necessary appeal or for documentation necessary. But the other reason why I tell you that up front is If you say something that might be used against you later on, you might not want to do that because it is recorded and it could be used at a later date and time. Part of my job as judge or magistrate for Denton County is just to meet with people, tell them what they've been charged, their rights and their bond. Bond, of course, being what you have to post with the court of the county before they let you out of jail. So once you post that money or meet or agree to those conditions, you'll be free to go. But you do have to come back for court at a later date and time, because if you don't come back for court, well, they issue another warrant for your arrest and kind of start all over again. So do make sure you make your court appearances. By posting your bonds, you have not completely taken care of the cases. You can post the bonds in cash and full if you have that kind of money. Most people don't, so they go through a bondsman. Bondsman charge percentages, typically between 10 and 25% of total amount that I tell you, but it really depends on whatever you can work out with the bondsman. Different bondsmen charge different rates. So what you might want to do is call a friend or family member, tell them in the Denton County Jail how much bond's going to be, and then let them work on trying to get you out. Now, other than that, though, if you can't afford to put the money up in cash, you actually save a little bit of money. Because then when you come back to court, you get to pile that money toward the fine if you were found guilty, or if you're found not guilty, the case is dismissed, you're going to get all that cash back. But again, that's only when you post the money in full in cash. Other than that, though, each of you here certainly still have constitutional rights, including a right to remain silent. You do not have to talk to police at all, because anything you say can and probably will be used against you later on. So you still want to be careful what you say. If you start to make a statement to the police or anyone representing the state, you can always stop at any time. Just because you begin to talk doesn't mean you can have to continue. And while it's unusual to see the agencies want to come down here and talk to you after arrest, they could. And if they do, you can talk to them if you want to. But again, keep in mind, it can be used against you. So you certainly still have the right to terminate any interview at any point. You have the right to speak with an attorney, to have an attorney present during questioning and have the attorney represent you at trial. And if you cannot afford to hire your own attorney, Denton County will appoint, pay for an attorney for you, or if it's a warrant from a different county, that county will appoint, pay for an attorney for you, so long as you're truly indigent. Indigent means that you don't have a job, source of income, family, friends, you don't have any way by which you can afford to pay for your own attorney or post your bond. So if you're sure you're not going to be able to post your bond, and probably more importantly, even if you did post your bond, you still could not afford to hire an attorney because you don't have a job, source of income, family or friends, or any way by which you can get that done, then you can certainly apply for or tell us that you're indigent and ask for a court-appointed counsel. Denton County will review the information you provide, and if the county finds that you are indigent, again, so poor that you can't afford to hire your own attorney, that if the county finds that you're indigent, we will appoint or assign you a court-appointed attorney, although you normally still won't be talking to a court-appointed attorney if you're still in jail, and only then probably by Monday of next week, because this is a holiday week. On the other hand, if you think that you can post your bond, I'd go ahead and tell me that you're not claiming to be indigent, get out of jail, post a bond, get out of jail, and then when you come back to court, if you're still unable to afford to hire an attorney, you can ask the court in which the case has been filed to appoint or assign you a court-appointed attorney then. If you're here for a felony, for a charge out of a different county and you're claiming to be indigent, we'll also notify that county electronically of your claim. They'll begin to get their process started. And then if you're here on a felony case and it's unindicted after a reasonable period of time, you can also ask the court to release you without posting bond at an examining trial, as well as ask for release on personal bonds if you're here for 15 days or more on a Class B misdemeanor, 30 days on a Class A misdemeanor, or 90 days or more on a felony case if the case still has not been filed or the state does not announce ready for trial within that time. Last, but certainly most importantly, you absolutely still have the right to a trial by judge or jury, just as you're charged. Doesn't mean you're guilty. You do have a right to a trial, but you need to post your bond in order to get out of jail prior to going to trial. So let me start off with Brian Freeze. Mr. Freeze, come on up. Mr. Freeze, one charge of driving while intoxicated. Bond on that's at $1,000, so it's certainly bondable. Bonds run you maybe $150 to $200. Typically, it's right at $175. Again, depending on the bondsman, whatever you can work out with them. So without saying you agree with it or admitting guilt to the charge, because you couldn't even if you wanted to, and you don't want to at this stage, let me get your signature on that line, just saying you understand your rights, your charge, and your bond. And once you get a hold of family or friends, Mr. Freeze, do you think that you can arrange for that bond?
Yes.
The initials in the top box saying you're not claiming to be indigent or asking for a court-appointed attorney currently. All right, go call family and friends, see what they can do to get you out of here soon. Sean McCullough. Mr. McCullough, one charge, possession of marijuana under 2 ounces amount. It's out of Sanger PD. You're in Texas now. What can I say? Bonds at only $100. That's a very, very, very low bond. I'm not sure that the marijuana was yours, but it was on your side of the vehicle and you were in control of the vehicle. So I'm setting that bond extremely low. I can't give you a personal bond because you have an out-of-state residence. So bond's only at $100. If you can afford to put the money up in cash, that'd probably be a better thing because since you are an out-of-state resident, a lot of bondsmen won't touch it. So let me get your signature on that line, just saying you understand rights, charge, and bond. You're not saying you agree with it or admit guilt. Maybe you can get this case taken care of some other way when you come back for court. And do you think that you can afford to hire your own attorney when you come back, or do you think that you'll be able to post that $100 bond?
I could post a $100 bond. I
Then
had
initials
cash
then?
on me before I came in.
Okay, then you can use the cash that's in your possession. So initials in the top box. All right, we'll get this on the system. Hopefully you can get that worked out here shortly. David Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, one charge of assault causing bodily injury. I have real, in fact, you can look at that form right there. It says normal bonds of $5,000 to $10,000. I've reduced this one to $1,000 because it was a very slight. They're saying that when you when you took hold of the child. So instead of get you rearrested, because I'm afraid that if I found no PC and released the case right now, they'd only rearrest you on a whole new warrant. So I'm going to reduce the bond to $1,000. I'm also not going to issue the protective order that would kick you out of the home.
Yes, I mean, sir, I got 7 kids. You know, I had no
What were you
harm.
thinking, dude?
No, well, I got 4. I got 4, and I got 3 that are my stepchildren. They lived with me for almost 5 years. You know, there was no harm of me doing
Okay.
any harm.
David, you don't have to convince me. I understand. The affidavit was very, very poorly written. So, but my problem is you're not eligible for a personal bond because it's an assaultive offense, and the governor changed the rules back on September 1, so that I can't release you on a personal bond. But I am reducing it to $1,000 because I just don't know the DA's office is going to take this case as a Class A misdemeanor charge. So I've reduced it. That's about the best I can do for you. And I'm not kicking you out of the home because is that your home?
That's my home, yes, sir.
So I'm not kicking you out of the home. They had asked for a protective order that would have kicked you out of the home for at least 61 days. So I'm not going to do that one either. Do you think that you can arrange to post a bond of $1,000? So bonds running you maybe $175 to $200.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I can post
So
it.
signature on that line, you're not saying you agree with it, you're not admitting guilt, because I just don't know how the DA is also going to do it, but I'm also trying to avoid having you rearrested is what I'm trying to do. And then
Why would I get rearrested? I don't
well,
understand.
if I released you, if I found no probable cause and said I don't agree with the case, I have a feeling that the officer would go to a different judge and get a warrant for your rearrest.
So the mother is going to be the one bonding me out. You know,
And that's why I didn't.
It's a situation where they were mad, and you know, it just made me look bad, and the officer just arrested me for, you know, just trying to arrest me.
Well, she did call the police, and the police came out there, and there was at least some contact. So let's work through the system. So let me get your initials in top box saying you're not claimed to be indigent, but you'll notice on there that I even put a note on there. I probably shouldn't write that on the form. It says, not sure that this is an offense as a Class A. I probably should be writing that stuff on there.
Thank you, sir.
But don't get me wrong, David. They could still proceed on this case. Okay.
I understand.
I'm just trying to. What I'm trying to do is if I no PC'd, if I found no probable cause and released you without a bond right now, I have a feeling that officer would go get a different warrant from a different judge and get you rearrested, and we'd be right back to square one.
I have a feeling the Aubrey cop probably would too.
Well, I'm not saying that, but do all 7 kids live with you?
No, I have No, I'm just trying to say, you know, that's,
Okay, no, I'm just saying that would question one's sanity. So, okay, thanks.
yes, sir.
It was a good job while it lasted. Jason Holland. Mr. Holland, I have you here on charge possession.
Yeah,
Jason,
wake up, Judge.
is he not awake?
No,
Good morning, Jason. Did I wake you up? I'm sorry. So, Jason, you have two charges. One charge of possession of controlled substance being group 3 under 20 grams amount is charged out of Highland Village. Bond on that's $1,000, which is not all that high. And then one charge of driving while intoxicated, and the bond's a little bit higher at $2,000, but that is because you do have an exceptionally high risk assessment, or not exceptionally, but 13 because of previous cases. So $3,000 total bond. That's still not all that much. Your bonds will run you maybe, I'd say about $300 or $400 to get you out. Do you think that you can arrange for that bond?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me get your signature on that line, just saying you understand your rights, your charge, and your bond. You were awake for that part, right? When I explained all those rights?
Yeah.
Hate to give you away. And then if you think that you can afford to hire your own attorney or post your bond, let me get your initials in the top box saying you're not claiming to be indigent. Yeah.
Oh, Ramsay, turn. All right, guys, if you see the judge, come with me.
All right, thanks. Donna McCullough. Angela, it's hard for me to tell on the camera. Was he not all with us?
no, I think he's still a little under the influence, Judge.
May have to redo him later. I mean, not that I'm upset with him. I just finally picked up on that because he turned the other way and somebody else had to help redirect him.
Been like that all since the beginning.
Miss McCall, you do realize you're in Texas, right?
I'm having a hard time hearing.
You do understand that you're in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day when Oklahoma made marijuana legal and Texas didn't, but they did. But marijuana is not allowed in the state of Texas. In any form, really. I mean, there's CBD oils, but at any rate, so they're charged with a charge of possession of marijuana. The bond on that's only at $500. That's a very, very low bond on that, certainly compared to what it used to be. And then there is an additional charge of possession of controlled substance pen group 2 over 1 gram and under 4, which they said was hash. And I'm not sure what moon rocks are. And it's probably best if you don't inform me as to what that might be. So I think they're saying 1 gram of hash, 1 gram of concentrated marijuana, which to my understanding, hash is concentrated marijuana. So bond on that's only 1,000. That's an exceptionally low bond. Okay, those are very low bonds. But that's 1,500 total. So I'd say bonds must still run you, since you're out of state, probably 200, 250, maybe a little bit more since you are out of state, but they are bondable. Let me get your signature on that form, just saying you understand your rights, your charge, and your bond. And then initials and that. Are you going to be able to arrange for that bond?
Well, I have $1,001.
You should be able to cover that then. Then let's get your initials in the top box saying you're not claiming to be indigent. So you're employed, right?
Yes, I am.
And are you feeling okay? Because are you cold?
Oh, well, I'm frightened. I'm very frightened.
Well, don't be frightened. Actually, this is kind of like a weird hotel. That's all I can really say. It's just a really strange hotel. So hopefully you'll be able to check out here soon, but just make sure you come back here to Denton County, but don't bring anything with you, if you know what I mean. Right?
See, please. Thank you.
Shauna Sims. Ms. Sims, you have 1, 2, 3 charges. They're all theft charges, and you did have a very high risk assessment. So typically, these would be like 10 to 25,000 a piece, but you turned yourself into the front lobby. Is that right?
Sure.
So I'm going to reduce these bonds since it shouldn't be about monetary bail. Are you currently out on some other cases as well?
One other, yes. It's a misdemeanor.
Is it also a theft charge?
Yes.
Why is that out of Denton, PA? Oh, because the town Little Elm dispatches are done now. So you have the theft of property 750 to 2500 is the JP Precinct 2 warrant. 21089J2 has a bond at only 1,000 since you turn yourself in. Charge of theft of property 2500 to 30,000 as a felony. 21095J2 and 21096J2 also out of JP2 for a theft felony charge of theft of property 2500 to 30,000 at 5,000 at 2,500. So it's a total then of $6,000 in bond. Those are greatly reduced because you turn yourself in. So I'd say bonds will run you $600 or $700 to get you out. Again, depends on the bondsman. Let me get your signature on that form, just saying you understand your rights, your charge, and your bond. And do you think that you'll be able to make arrangements to hire your own attorney, Ms. Sims, or post your bond?
I already have made arrangements with the lawyer and the bail bondsman.
All right, their initials on the top box saying you're not claimed to be indigent.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Have a seat. Ryan Mediano. Ms. Mediano, yours is not a new case. This is actually what we call a BHI warrant, which stands for bond held insufficient warrant. So in other words, you're released on a bond on a charge originally of driving while intoxicated as a second offense. The bond on that one has now been found to be, well, in fact, I'm not sure why, but we had a hearing set up for you on a certain date. Let's see, we had a hearing date that was set for November the 16th at 1:30 p.m. and you didn't show up for that court date. And we were trying to find out why you tested positive for apparently cannabinoids, or other words, THC related testing. And since you didn't come, we held your bond to be insufficient and issued a new warrant. So now you're going to post a new bond of $5,000. So it's a new bond that you'll have to post, and there are additional conditions, including participation in Denton County's IVR program, which will require that you submit to hair follicle or urine testing for drugs or dilutants or for alcohol. Also, all the other conditions still exist. Still have to have an ignition interlock system installed in your vehicle. And these conditions will be in place until you go to court or take care of the case in some other fashion. So again, just saying you understand your rights, your charge, and your new bond of $5,000. Let me get your signature on that form saying you understand that information. And then do you think that you can afford to post this new bond?
It'll be a little harder. I was supposed to start my new job today, and I had to push that back to next week.
I'll call some family and friends. The bonds will usually run you around $500 again, so it's bondable. I don't know if I call the same one, but you can call some others. Or family friends, see if they can swing it. But again, it's at least you have a bond, because several of these people we had set for hearings and it went until next week. So do you have family or friends that might try to help hire an attorney, or do you need to ask for a court-appointed lawyer?
I'll be able to use my attorney.
The initials in the top box. Who's your attorney?
Dean Sarah.
All right, well, now there are also some additional conditions of bond. Those additional conditions of bond, as I said, require that you continue to have an ignition lock system installed in your vehicle, maintain it, keep it up. Also, you need to go by and see pretrial services, not later than 4:00 p.m., really on the first business day, but you'll need to talk to them about enrollment in the IVR, Interactive Voice Response System.
Where do I do that?
Huh?
Where do I do that at?
With the pretrial people, so go by and see Denton County Pretrial Services by close of business, first business day after you get out, and they'll help get you enrolled in that. And then all the other restrictions, still can't travel outside of Denton, Dallas, Collin, or Tarrant counties. Just notice that's incorrect. All right, so go work on your bond, $5,000. Keep in mind you have to now enroll in the IVR program, and make sure you comply with all conditions and terms. Keep us informed if you change of address. Is there a reason why you didn't come to the hearing or participate in the Zoom hearing?
I thought it was at 5:30 and it was at 1:30. I just completely messed up.
Okay, all right. Well, we got that taken care of, so at least you have a bond. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, Judge.